Hello and welcome to the first lesson of Unit 6. We're on to our lesson on, or our unit on multiplying and dividing fractions. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first question is it possible to turn a whole number into a fraction? 7.1 is all about multiplying whole numbers times fractions. And in order to do that, we need to be able to turn a whole number into a fraction. So hopefully you can recall, how do we do that? Is 12 possibly a fraction? Can we make it a fraction that still retains the value of 12? I hope you answered yes. All we have to do is put it over 1. Every single whole number we can put over 1 and we suddenly have a fraction. We have a numerator of 573, a denominator of 1. And so that's a key concept that you're going to have to remember for today's lesson, that anytime you want to turn a whole number into a decimal, you just put it over 1. I want to make sure you get that in your notes. So multiplying a fraction and a whole number. If we have 10 times 4 ninths, we have a whole number and our fraction. The first thing we want to do is write the whole number as a fraction. Just like we did before, we're going to put it over 1. Now we have a fraction times a fraction. And here's our next beautiful saying that's so much fun. We're going to practice it in class tomorrow. But read it with me here. Multiplying fractions, it's no problem. It's the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. Oh, that's got a lovely ring to it. Let's try it again. Multiplying fractions, it's no problem. It's the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. And then our last step is always simplify. I want you to notice that nowhere in multiplying fractions does it say anything about common denominator. We don't need it anymore. We simply multiply straight across the top. So 10 times 4 equals 40. And 1 times 9 equals 9. When I simplify, I go, how many times can 9 fit into 40? Well, 9 times 4 is 36. That's as close as I can get without going over. So 4 becomes my whole number. And 40 minus 36 leaves me with 4 left over that I haven't used. 9 is still my denominator. So 4 and 4 ninths is what I get when I take 10 times 4 ninths. All right, so let's try it again. What's the first thing that I need to do? I need to take 7 and turn it into a fraction. So now I have 7 over 1 times 3 over 5. Now I do top times top, bottom times bottom. So I take 7 times 3 over 1 times 5. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 1 times 5 gives me 5. And now I need to simplify. 5 can fit into 21 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. So when I take 20 away, my remainder is 1. And my denominator still stays the same at 5. Good job. Let's keep going. How about this one? Step 1. What was that again? Aha. Take the whole number and write it as a fraction. So 15 becomes 15 over 1. Times 7 tenths. Multiplying fractions, it's no problem. It's the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. So on my top, I'm going to take 15 times 7. For my bottom number, I'm going to take 1 times 10. Well, let's figure out what it is. I don't know what 15 times 7 is, so I'm going to go over here and multiply it out. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So 105 is my answer, so that's my top number, 105. My bottom number, 1 times 10, is 10. So when I simplify it, I don't want to leave it as an improper fraction. And 10 can go into 105. Well, I know 10 times 10 is 100, and I don't have more to do that. So 10 is my whole number. And I'm left with 5, so 5 over 10. I'm done. Oh, I hope you caught that. We don't want to leave it as 5 tenths. We want to reduce that to equal 10 and 1/2. So let's go ahead. I want you to try these two here in your notes. Don't forget, you need to change those those whole numbers into a fraction, and then you multiply. It's no problem. It's the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. So all you're going to do is take that top times the top, and that gives you your new top number. Bottom times the bottom, that gives you your new bottom number. Don't get confused with the whole number coming second. Remember, in multiplication, we can switch them around, no problem. That 2 times 3 is the exact same thing as 3 times 2. So go ahead and do these in your notebook, and we'll check them when we see you in class tomorrow. Have a great night.